Shut up and sit down.
I'm totally gonna go vegan this season.
My mind's on fire, so I ride my bike. I'm riding harder than a hurricane. Love is
You shaved your legs? Does shaving your legs really make a difference? Man, shaved legs make such a difference. Look at that guy with the hairy legs.
I saw the old you for a second there. My mother made me.
You are listening to the Dial Podcast with Matthew Grand, Lance Hepler,
Sir Ian Gibson,
and Jake Von Turing. Optional listening required.
And get that runner's high.
I'm totally going vegetarian this season. Eating is cheating, man. I think protein's really gonna help me out in my season. Hey man, do you have a gel?
That runner's high. Babe, I think I found what it means to be alive.
You guys have some lube I can borrow?
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I'm Jake Vonder, here with Lance friggin' Hepler.
Lance friggin' Hepler.
For your listening pleasure.
Screw dentist, screw dental pain, screw teeth.
Oh, man.
You're welcome. Oh, for saying that.
Last podcast, if people don't remember, Lance has been dealing
face
with...
fell off.
Son of a bitch, man.
Yeah.
It's not been good. We'll get there.
Root canal. Did we talk about it on the podcast, or did we...
Briefly, yeah.
Okay.
We did.
All right.
bloody dentist.
To his right, the one and only Sir Ian Gibson.
Hello, you wankers.
Oh,
Currently
bloody
wanking.
Wanking.
I feel like
I just came up with
That's
that.
good. That's good. That's actually quite the intro. Actually,
Yeah.
I quite like that. I mean, with the horns in the background, it's
It's
really
now
nice.
my version of Ladies and Gentlemen of the Internet.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, did you...
Hello, you wankers.
Do you guys want to do that?
Yeah.
To his right, last and least, per usual, Matt LeGrand.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet. I don't even know what I say anymore.
Dodgy wankers.
You guys are looking fantastic. You look like you've seen some stuff. You look like you've been through some stuff this
There's been
week.
some stuff.
There's been some things we've done some stuff.
Cool. How about we talk about that? Matt, you want to talk?
I have been in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
the whole
how was
time.
that?
It was super great. You know,
Just with your kids and family?
yeah, and it was like, it wasn't like a swimming thing, which is wild.
It was a spring break thing.
It was spring break, and we were just tourists, which was super fun. I feel like I haven't done a trip like that in a long time, where we're just like, let's just go see the monuments and and the museums and do enough walking to kill a small child. So, you know, we may have lost one, but we're good.
I've never been. Is it pretty clean? Is it safe? Or what's the...
Yeah, it was good. Clean enough and safe enough. I felt fine. I mean, there were some days where like I would start my GPS watch and it would just be like the second half of the day. So we've been like walking all morning, and then I just checked the GPS on like the second half of the day, and it was like 6 miles. I'm like, oh
Right.
man, which, you know, I'm thinking to myself like, all right, so probably did close to double that. Like that was just so much walking. Like all of our kids' legs were just like hurting and aching, beat up.
Because it's been so much.
So much walking. So we got a Airbnb, and we're about a mile from, maybe 2 miles from like somewhere in that range from like the Capitol. And then there's all this, like, there's another 2 miles of, they call it like the National Mall or whatever, where it's just like this like stretch of, you know, museums and things. And you go all the way down, you see the Lincoln Memorial with like the reflection. Anyway, so there's just so much walking that you can do if you want to see a whole bunch of stuff.
Did you slap on your goggles and get your Garmin watch out and go
Yep.
jump in the
Yep.
reflection pool and
I
do some
did.
laps?
Yep, I
Yeah?
did. I was arrested twice
make a video
because
there?
of the nudity.
Oh.
So yeah, be on the lookout
I've
for
been
that
there.
video on YouTube. I'm sure that's going to get flagged. Been there, done that.
When my kids were like 10 to 15,
Okay,
we
which
went
is-
we went to Washington D.C. So same type
same
of thing.
time.
Except mine was a little bit more in Hepler fashion.
More nudity.
more nudity than
The Legrands only had a little bit of nudity. Hepler's went big.
we went big. We were in Baltimore because I was getting some national dental award, actually. So we were in Baltimore, and it's close by to Washington, D.C., and we had like an open, like 12 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, kids, go. We're driving to D.C., and we're going to see everything. And we're like, so I was in full travel dad mode. Hey, schedule. I'm tapping my watch. We saw every monument. Went to the cemetery.
Look at you went to the cemetery.
Yeah, went to the Smithsonian. Okay. Went to the White House. Went to the Capitol. We saw everything in like 12 hours, and then my kids hated me and never want to go back.
Yeah, I bet they're like,
that was
walked
torture. Them into the dirt
because the Arlington National Cemetery is walkable. It's within walking distance. But then if you get into that cemetery, it's
gigantic.
So Kristen's grandfather is buried there, which is pretty cool. He was like a 4-star general, like big. He's a big deal. It's pretty cool.
Wow,
I know, right? And so we just went to his grave, but it's a lot of walking.
We only went to watch the guard thing, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Yeah, the guard change. Yeah.
No,
super cool.
that's not true.
You guys have a changing of the guard too? Is that a thing here?
Yeah.
There's
just one.
There's a guard for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier that is guarded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it has been since like the 60s or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. 60s, 70s,
somewhere
in there.
Something like that. And so they change guards every hour, and there's a whole like
ceremony,
and it's pretty cool.
You probably saw like the JFK spot. I bet you guys are.
Everything, just like where's the next thing?
Heplers are
where's
animals.
The next thing?
Those are animals. Yeah, it was a great trip. We, my little brother lives in North Carolina. He drove up and he saw us for half the trip, and the cousins got to play together. His kids are a little bit younger. His like middle kid is like just like wire, like just like he's like a wild man. And like it's kind of always like let's go on the escalators and try to run backwards on them, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it, because I'm the uncle, right? The uncles can do stuff like that. So he got his Crocs and his socks stuck in the Smithsonian escalator. Like we're like really scared that he was gonna get his foot like really hurt.
Oh
right?
no!
And so they had to like rope off this section of the Smithsonian and like turn off this escalator. It was hilarious. I was like taking pictures. I'm like, I send this to my dad, because my dad's like, oh, this is hilarious. This is funny. So that was a highlight of the trip. But I didn't, as far as backpedal goes, I didn't really get to do anything. I mean, I did sneak into the pool yesterday after we got back, but I haven't just walking. Walk. Not even a lot of running. And it's actually a pretty good place to run. So I was too tired.
Yeah.
Yep. So cool. That's my back pedal.
Gibbo.
I don't feel like I've got anything super
Weather's
interesting,
been nice.
pod-worthy to talk about since last time we were here. I did some riding.
Did you get out yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean,
been
the
out
weather.
the last 3 days, really. Because that's all I do, right? I'm retired and I go to the gym and I ride my bike and
you just look good the whole time.
It's a good life.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, I really want to segue into my upcoming race somehow. So 2 days ago, I went out and rode the course for the upcoming Barton Park road race coming up on May 9th. So maybe we can talk about that later in a bit. But suffering with knee pain again. So my training is kind of taking a dive right now. Like,
oh, man.
I mean, I'm riding, but it's not very productive. So I did some structured training last week and pushed it and thought, great, doing these VO2 intervals, finally got around to it, and I'm going to be building race fitness. But I don't think it's going to happen because my knee hurts. Yeah.
Ouchie.
Maybe get on some PT of some sort.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got all that.
I'm kind of going back to the exercises that Evan gave me, our resident local PT, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, coming up, we have all kinds of things going on. Banana Belt Road Race, Gorge Gravel Grinder Race. So I want to be in shape for that.
I looked ahead at the weather and it was like all rain, like for the foreseeable future, starting tomorrow, I think. So,
really,
I think so. I mean, I don't. You know how it is. Like it looks like there's some rain in the forecast. Doesn't mean that it's going to rain all day. So, stay positive, people.
Right now, next weekend is Saturday. Was looking not too bad, right? We did Barton Park. Not Barton Park. We did Banana Belt last year at this time.
Wasn't
And
it pouring rain?
Oh, it was dreadful. It was like the worst racing
Jeez.
experience ever. I mean, hypothermia. It was horrible. So hopefully we don't have to do that again.
That's not fun.
Yeah, that's all I got to say, really.
Cool. How about you, Epler?
Last week sucked balls. This is probably the right way to hear this out because all I'm gonna do is complain like a 10-year-old.
That's how you're like. That's your actual tooth complaining from the back of your mouth.
Yeah, my tooth.
Oh, we're talking to Lance's tooth. What's up, Lance's tooth?
Hey, how's it
Hi-
going?
how-
I just want to make hey, what's happening? Hey, screw you, you scratch ball. I don't even know what I'm saying.
What's up, Epler?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Last week really did suck balls. I don't know why I delayed when you hit that button. I just felt like you were doing something and I was right. Gosh dang it. Yeah. That my tooth pain actually got significantly worse after we recorded the last podcast. So I think it was the day after I had my root canal done. And root canals, 90% of the time, are inconsequential, don't have real issues. Mine was not that case. It was not because I ignored it for too long or put it off for too long or went to some hack who didn't know what he was doing, or it wasn't any of that. It just was unfreaking lucky that I just ended up with significant pain. It hurt so much. I couldn't think straight at all. And I was feeling it a little bit during the podcast last week. I don't know if you kind of tell, I had to get quiet for a little bit because my brain like just moved to a different position. But I ended up recording 7 days of zeros on Strava. Do you know how
You need a break. Needed a break.
That's what I was telling him. He's probably going to feel better
You're
than
probably
ever.
going to come on the other side of this and kick ass.
Yeah.
It's not fair. To
Well,
the
my
rest
legs
of
are fresh. I will say that. My legs feel pretty fresh.
us. Have you been sleeping at all?
I didn't for 6 days. Like I was awake every couple of hours with how much it hurt. I was trying to take pain meds to help me sleep. Pain meds don't affect me very much. Like, I mean, the joke is that I could take a handful of Vicodin and still do complex algebra, you know? So-
Now, I want to bring this up. You can still do complex algebra, so you can do complex
No,
algebra.
it allows me to do complex algebra.
when you otherwise cannot, right? So it
That's
gives
right.
you this superpower.
It does. It gives me the superpower.
When you
Yeah.
look
Okay.
at it after the drugs wear off, it's just chicken scratch.
That's right.
But,
Wait,
you know.
this doesn't make any sense. No, it's methamphetamine that makes you do better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both in cycling and in algebra.
Yeah, cycling and algebra.
Maybe cycling while doing algebra. I don't know.
Anyway, I was freaking miserable. Did not sleep. Was in pain. Had to go on antibiotics. Really couldn't take the pain meds very much because they weren't really helping.
Did the antibiotic? So do you think it got infected?
It was just a multitude of things that caused the tooth to hurt. The ligament that holds the tooth in the bone. We can get really technical here in dental speak if you want. But the ligament that holds the tooth in the bone had gotten injured and infected, and so that's what was causing some of the pain. Not necessarily the nerve inside the tooth. Those are two separate things, but it was two things that just like resulted in this storm of pain. Like. My wife was actually worried about me because was sitting on the couch rocking like holding my face like I can't think, I don't know what to do, and it wasn't like I could call the dentist who did this and said, "Hey, what's going on?" I know exactly what's going on. I knew exactly what's going on, and I knew
of the ligament. You thought like
yes,
this is
and I
ligament.
knew there was nothing to be done about it except time and medication, and the medication wasn't working for me. So it was just like,
Should have taken more medication. Just keep going, man.
just keep piling it on.
I should have brought you some of the good stuff I have.
Dude, I had some good stuff. My wife just had shoulder surgery. There was good stuff all over the house.
Your house, man.
Tic Tac.
But it just wasn't working. So when the pain finally stopped or lessened, I slept for like 2 straight days because I hadn't like slept at all. Oh my gosh. It was a big, deep, dark hole. I was not happy. It was all just kind of bad. I skipped a race. That tells you how ugly it was. I didn't ride my bike. I skipped a race.
I think we suggested you guys that you skip the race last podcast. We'll have to play this back on
Probably.
Rewind,
And I'm like, oh, no, I'll probably go do it. And I really was kind of planning to go, but no, there was no freaking way. There was no way. So anyway, that's behind me. I'm feeling 90% better. Yeah.
Maybe you should ease back into things.
I should ease back into things. There is a race tomorrow, a gravel race tomorrow. I'm going to do the short course. I did a little ride yesterday just to make sure my legs would feel okay.
How far is the short course? How long?
It's 40 miles.
Okay.
And 3,000 feet of climbing. So there's some climbs in it.
Yeah. You think it'll take you 3 hours?
No, it'll probably take me 2:20 or something like that, depending on how my legs feel.
If it takes you 3 hours, that'd be all right.
Yeah, it would be okay.
Yeah.
But
bring snacks. You can stop and have a picnic.
I can snack, yeah. But I did a ride yesterday just to make sure I would be able to do it. I did a 3-hour ride yesterday, not hard, just zone 2 for 3 hours. And yeah, my legs felt great. My heart rate was 10 beats higher than it normally would be because it's readjusting to being not revved up. So anyway, I'm on the backside of that. And we'll see how the rest of this year
You'll be fine in
goes.
2 weeks.
I'll
You'll be fine in 2 weeks. But give yourself the 2 weeks, man. Don't push yourself into all these crazy scenarios.
I'm doing a stupid race.
I'm going to descend as hard as I can tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
I know it will.
Mike Ripley actually called me yesterday and asked me to lead out the short course again like I did at Pendleton. So I'm currently looking for skate parks.
Yes.
I definitely think, though, that
Gravel skate parks are everywhere.
Parks everywhere. In Carlton, Oregon.
They're very common there.
Wait. Is this a huge opportunity in the making? When you lead out, what kind of stuff can you do? I mean, they can't tell you what you can't do, right?
he can lead you into skate parks.
I can lead you into a skate park.
No, seriously though, would you consider doing that just to be funny? Just I don't know, go do a couple laps around
a better video.
I mean, would he consider it?
What's there? What's there?
I don't know what's in Carlton. We actually pull out and we're right on a main road, and we're neutral for 2.5 miles. So there's nothing.
Just go find a roundabout or something like that and do a couple laps around that first. And then...
Well, we're only gapped by 20 seconds from the long course, so we actually catch the tail end within 60 seconds. We catch the tail end of the slower people in the long course.
Have some fun with it.
Yeah, I should have. I just take them an extra lap around the Carlton Bakery because that place is pretty fantastic.
Just say, I don't know, guys.
We're supposed to go around the bakery.
That's what it says.
That's what I was told. Dude, go around.
Blame it on GPS.
Well, last time you did this for Mike, you gave a 20-second gap between us and the long course riders. And then within about 15 seconds, you were threading your way through the long course riders to get to the front.
The whole point of me leading it out was just to create the gap.
And led me straight into the skate park.
That is correct. Where you probably
where my race became undone.
So I'll do the same thing.
Dodgy wanker.
Anyway, that's it.
Cool.
Jake. Breaking news.
I didn't do
Poo-poo.
Champ Bailey.
News on the Dial podcast. Don and flannel, no pants, and at a mic. He's got some fake news. That's right, cycling deets are his game. Name dropping the pros, he gets the dirt, and it might even sometimes be right. Champ Bailey here. Racing news is my game.
Champ Bailey, what's up,
Champ
dude?
is here. Hey, we did have the Tour of Flanders this last weekend. It is Classics Week. It is Holy Week in Belgium at the moment because we had the Tour of Flanders last Sunday and we have Paris-Roubaix this Sunday in 2 days. So the Tour of Flanders was actually a fantastic race to watch. All the big hitters were there. Who decided to step in at the last minute? Remco decided to line up at the last minute. And
was he there because he wanted to test his front flip skills?
Yeah, right. Did you see the video that came out?
I don't know. I mean, I think I saw like glance. I mean, I know, obviously I know like that happened. I just can't remember I don't remember why. I just remember seeing him like.
We still don't know why.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to stop on the Flanders report for a minute because
This is important.
A video. So Remco and Jonas were in a breakaway. This was during the Tour of de Catalonia. What
right.
was it?
Okay.
Not
This isn't even the
Catalonia.
right race.
Wasn't
Okay.
even the right race.
Sorry.
So different race. They were in a breakaway on one of the stages, and Remco was pulling. Jonas would not go to the front. He was sitting on Remco's wheel the whole time, and they had a 10-second gap within
Kilometers,
500 meters of the finish line. Remco's drilling it on the front. Jonas is behind him, and Remco crashes out of the blue, and they don't catch it with the video filming coverage because they only had a helicopter shot at the time. Well, a video just surfaced of a fan who got it on his cell phone as they went by, and you still can't tell what happened other than they're both drilling it. They look like they're doing 30 miles an hour. They probably are. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Remco just goes over the bars, nose wheelies, and goes over the bars. Whack.
Yeah.
So he either inadvertently grabbed his brake, his front brake, or he hit something, but there was nothing really to hit because Jonas was right on his wheel. So it was a little interesting. But you can see the video where he just all of a sudden, whoop, nose wheelies and whack, he's on the pavement.
I wonder if he hit something. Who knows?
Has he spoken on it?
He just said he said he thought he hit a hole in the road, or that but he also said that he was switching from the tops to the drops. Mm-hmm. Or was he switching the other way because they were just about to go through a roundabout? Uh-huh. So maybe he was switching from... Anyway, he was switching from one to the other, and he did it two-handed. We talked about it last week.
Yep. But this is before Flanders, so he's... Right, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so
he's
okay.
Flanders.
He's
okay.
Yeah.
He
flipped
over,
busted
he
a front
scraped
flip.
up some things, got some bruises, and then
hopped on the bike and rolled back in.
Yeah, hopped on the bike and go back in.
That's the way you know that though. Like you can have your hands on the handlebars for 99% of the ride, and then when you take your hands away, that's when you hit that
when
bump
something
or
happens.
That
Correct.
pothole. Happened to me. I crashed in the parking lot at a cyclocross race a couple of years ago.
That's
right before the start. Right
in Madras.
Same thing. Hands off the bar, hit something,
boom, go down.
Same thing happened to my friend Dickie on Saturday.
Oh no!
Went down in the middle of the road again.
Just all by himself.
Yep.
Is he okay?
He's okay. Yeah.
All right.
Kind of bruised up, but yeah.
Anyway, so back to Flanders. Remco shows up. There was a selection pretty early on. All the hitters ended up in it.
Yeah.
So all the favorites. It was Pogačar, Van der Poel, Wout, Mads Pedersen, and Remco. They were all in it. For a while, it was just the five of them.
It looked like they were letting Pogačar do the work.
Yeah,
from what I could tell, but of course, these breakaways are a lot longer than the highlights that you see, right? And so, I'm seeing, and I'm like, he's always in front doing the work.
A couple of them took some short pulls and came through, but eventually, no, he was doing most of the work, and of course, he ended up dropping everybody. It was kind of a weird finish in that the top five men all finished 30 seconds apart. Not Pogačar finished and then there were 30 seconds, and then Van der Poel finished and then there were 30 seconds, and then Remco finished and then there was 30 seconds, and then Wout finished and then there was 30 seconds, and then Mads Pedersen finished, and then they also finished in the order of what their predicted finish was going to be. Wow. So it was a little strange that it finished like that. But yes, Pogačar ended up winning. He wins Flanders for the third time. And he's just the king of the world at the moment. He's our Leo DiCaprio. So that's what happens.
But is he going to win on Sunday?
That's a great question. We've got Roubaix.
One of the hardest options. I mean, if he does, then does he win all of them? Because that'll be never happened, has it?
No, it's up. I think there's a couple that have done all of them.
No, nobody's ever won all 5 monuments in a calendar year.
Oh, I'm talking about just in general.
Yes.
But in a calendar year.
In a calendar year. Nobody's done it in a calendar year. And if he wins on Sunday in Paris-Roubaix, he would definitely have a shot at... Because Il Lombardia, he freaking owns that race. He's won it like 5 years in a row. I can't remember what the 5th monument is.
Mhm.
The last one is Il Lombardia. What's the other one? Now I look like an idiot. What? Normal. So anyway, we'll see what happens at Paris-Roubaix. Paris-Roubaix doesn't have any like big climbs in it, so it's not as advantageous to the smaller climber riders. That's why it tends to do better than. That's why bigger riders tend to do better at Paris-Roubaix, because it's just about the rough cobblestone sections and not necessarily about any big climbs.
Milan-San Remo.
Milan-San Remo, he won.
Tour of Flanders.
Paris-Roubaix. Paris-Roubaix this Sunday.
Liège, Bastogne-Liège.
Oh, Liège, Bastogne-Liège.
Giro
Okay.
de Lombardia.
And then Lombardia.
Yep.
Liège, if Remco is actually firing, that race kind of favors Remco a little bit. So it could be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, Paris-Roubaix this Sunday. I'm freaking excited for that. That should be fun to see what happens. So
Now, Tade, Slovenian, right?
yes,
We've got a listener from Slovenia that listens regularly. I see it in the stats. It's got to be Tade, right?
it's got to be Tade.
Hey, Tade, can you just
100%.
give us a call or hit us up on that like, text thing on our?
It could be Roglic or Mathieu Mohoric. They're both from Slovenia. No, it's Tade.
It's Tade. You know, he's listening. Let us know what you gonna do. Anyway,
So that's the big stuff that happened. The other stuff that's been happening, there is the tour of the Basque Country that's happening right now, and Paul Sexius is just freaking owning it. And I mentioned him last week. He's the 19-year-old kid on decathlon, and the kid can time trial and he can climb. And so, he is just owning that race. He won again today.
Yep.
So
I've hardly watched anything of late because just my life isn't working where I get to have that leisurely time. I did catch a clip though. Was one of the races one where Jonas was in a break with somebody else and they were kind of like sitting up towards the end and Jonas wouldn't come around and take a pole, and it came down to like the peloton's going to catch him or whatnot if they don't get after it right now. And so Jonas played his cards as best he possibly could, sitting on this guy's wheel, and then they had to get up and start sprinting, otherwise they're going to get swallowed up. And the guy ended up riding Jonas off his wheel for the win at the line. Was that race?
no, Jonas isn't at that race. He's not at.
Was that a recent race?
Basque Country.
I caught that somewhere. I don't even know what it was, and I was just watching it. I'm like, oh, bike racing. I wish I could have time to watch it right now.
I don't think that was this year.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
That checks.
that could be, because sometimes you get these clips like you're just like scrolling through and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is amazing and it's cool, and you're like,
I don't
that
even
was
know.
last
I
year.
wasn't even scrolling. I think I was probably having to check something on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. And it was like in the feed. There's like the reels that are like,
Facebook will get you.
probably. No.
Facebook is a place to avoid.
Redact that whole thing and carry on.
All right.
So Sextus is showing up that, hey, there's still talent that's still coming up and
He's 19
working
years
out.
old,
He's
huh?
19
Are we
years
taking
old.
bets on Paris-Roubaix?
Roubaix, so Wout is there, Vanderpool is there. I don't know if Mads Peterson is doing it. Pogačar is there. There's got to be one of those.
It's going to be
four,
random,
right?
I don't know. It could be. This race can do some crazy stuff.
It can. It could. A lot of stuff could happen. Wout's pre-race routine got a bit of a blow because he has been training on the wheel set that has the automatic air regulation.
Oh no!
And the UCI just decided to ban it.
Okay, that's it. Nothing
Yeah.
else. Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be fine.
Yeah, so it was the wheel set where you could raise and lower air pressure while you rode. So
Yeah, which is great for Paris-Roubaix. I mean,
Which is
it's
great
what-
for Paris-Roubaix.
We've been talking about this tech on this podcast for like 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
and it's just never really worked.
no,
or
because
never,
the wheel set was like $5,000.
What was
and
the
it's
rationale though
heavy.
behind them?
I didn't read it. I just saw the headline,
Yeah.
which that's classic.
Yep.
Well,
do we
no,
wanna
I
take-
understand it. Definitely, it's because
Taking
that
away the
sort of
purity
thing.
of the sport, or
No, I think that trickles down to racing at our level, right? And then before you know it, you need to spend $5,000 on a wheel set to be competitive with people that you might otherwise beat. So it's same sort of thing with time trial bikes. It becomes this this race of,
the
of
tech, not the-
technology
yeah.
and who can afford it. And I think, yeah, that's
I hear you there, but at the same time, I mean, if it's technology that's advancing the sport, I mean, why aren't they still running on mechanical derailleurs or
Yeah.
tube tires or, I don't know,
right.
just my 2 cents.
But I mean, just like all like motorsports, there has to be a formula and agreed on parameters.
Yeah.
That you
And
have
well,
to.
for them, it just has to be available to the general public.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I think Factor Bikes makes a track bike or something like that. That's $50,000 if I'm not mistaken. So they'll make you one if you really want one, kind of a thing.
Right.
And that's how that's legal. They're just riding on these crazy bikes.
Right.
Anyway, so going back to the favorites for Paris-Roubaix, I mean, you've got your two primaries,
Van der Poel and Pogačar.
After that, you've got the likes of like a Mats Peterson, Wout van Aert, Filippo Ganna. Who else would be on that list? Who else is going to be lining up that could potentially be a hitter in your guys' opinion?
No, that's it.
What about like a Jasper Philipsen? Do you think he'll be in there towards the finish?
He
Do you
did
think
take
he can hold
second
on?
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He took second a couple years ago.
Yep.
Van der Poel was off the front, and Jasper Philipsen was in the second group on the road and ended up out sprinting everybody. I remember this because Van der Poel had finished and he was celebrating, and he stopped his celebration to watch Jasper out sprint everybody for second place.
There you
So that was kind of cool.
Yep. You also got Florian Vermeersch and Christophe Laporte, Stefan Kung. Those are some other notable names.
Mm. It could be one of those sort of second, third tier predictions, because of those top, let's say 5 guys, the chances of at least one of them having a mechanical or a crash or something at a critical time is almost 100%. One of those guys is going to luck out, and
yeah.
one of them's going to get unlucky, or several of them. Anything can happen in that race.
There's a lot about road racing that luck is a big part of it, but it's even more so with Paris-Roubaix because there's going to be mechanical issues.
Call your shot. Call your shot.
Pogačar's going to do it. He is motivated.
Yeah, he's motivated.
Ian.
No, can't beat Van der Poel.
Dang it. Who are you going with, Jake? I want to go against you guys, but you guys already made it
Pogačar
hard.
was on Van der Poel's wheel. Was this last year? He was on his wheel with like 10K to go.
He won't be able to shake him off, though.
And
where
That's the thing.
will he shake him off?
He crashed.
Yeah.
He like just
But it
missed
wasn't a
it
bad
corner.
crash.
It wasn't bad.
He just overcooked a corner or something.
He went.
His bike was okay.
His bike was okay. He was back on it and
And that was
going
it.
again,
That was
but
all
it
it
was
took.
it was too much of a gap to close.
Unless Van der Poel has some mechanical incident, where on that race course can Pogačar shake off Van der Poel? Can't.
He can't. You are correct. There isn't.
And then when it
a
comes to the
climb
sprint-
do it.
Yeah.
I got a hot take.
Okay.
Pogačar crashes. Van der Poel and Van Aert are going to be mixing it up. Pedersen might be in there a little bit too. As much as I want Wout to win, I think Van der Poel gets the better of him. And I think Tadej probably finishes pretty far back, but should be okay. Probably not going to be hurt, but I don't think that it's going to happen. So that's just my 2 cents. I think that he's got this thing in his sights. I think that he might be a little not overly confident, because when you're that good, you can be that confident, but that's a demanding course. And I think something's going to come out of left field for him. And I don't think that it's going to be a situation where he's going to be in the mix to win it, because he's going to have a little snafu.
He has won 3 years in a row. Are you talking about? Did you talk about Van der Poel, or were you talking about Pogačar?
Pogačar.
Van der Poel has won 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So is his time up? Because
I don't know, but I would love.
luck is
I
going to
would-
come down on the wrong
My
side.
heart wants Wout to win. I want. him to
Everybody
get
wants
some-
Wout to win. Who doesn't want Wout to
So
win?
I'll go out on a limb and I'll say Wout wins, but the little chirpy thing, hey, Van der Poel's going to win. I think that's probably going to be what happens. But I'll put my money on Van Aert. That's my.
I
All
think
right.
Van der Poel as well, with his cyclocross background and his mountain biking background, he is probably less likely to suffer a fall or a mechanical,
Wout as well.
statistically, Wout as well, right? Because those guys know how to ride that kind of terrain and avoid those situations to a degree. I mean, not 100%. Anything can happen, but I think they've got those off-road skills count for a lot. In that
I
race.
think MVP is going to win. I think he's got to be the favorite, but like part of me wants to see Pogačar like make history. So
It's fun to witness history.
I'm just gonna go with Pogačar just for the fun of that. Even if I lose the bet, this is an important bet to win. But
if he does win, I'm on board with you on that. I
whole
don't hate
history
that
thing.
I don't hate that, but
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, it's still not boring racing. I mean, that's what everybody
No.
says. Pogačar like is winning like everything
Well-
he wants to win, and does this make these races boring? No.
Every time they go
Not to me.
through a cobbled section, it's exciting. Like it's always like nerve wracking, and you kind of always feel like the blood pressure goes up. They're about to go into one of those stages. It's just like hold your breath for however long this cobbled section is, and then you're kind of like, oh, okay. Like they made it through that without any crazy stuff happening, and then you get to the next one, and it's like the same thing. It's like kind of you're on the edge of your seat the whole time watching that race.
Okay, Matt.
Except for the beginning, which is boring.
What's the over-under on us seeing video footage of a tubeless tire completely off the rim and sealant spilled everywhere? Don't we see that every year in that race? Somebody's like tire is off the rim, not just flat, but like off the rim.
100% we'll see that.
100% we're going to see that.
It's an amazing race. It is the one race that the one day race that I'll watch from start to finish.
Do you feel like the beginning's a little bit boring, or I mean, there's still like attacks and there's still stuff.
Yeah, it can be.
It just kind of feels like it almost feels like a long stretch into the first like cobbled sec. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's like 90 Ks before the first sector,
and that's early in the morning too. So.
Yeah.
I think it's on HBO Max, I believe.
Oh, is it? Okay.
This race is.
This is how freaking old I am, though. I remember watching this race the first time, stumbled across it, and it was like 1994, I think.
Oh, they didn't do the race back then.
Yeah, they did.
No.
But it was a wet edition, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. You know, there's so much carnage in that race.
What's the forecast?
It's going to be dry. I think it's going to be dry. They're saying, this year. So
didn't even take that into consideration, but all right.
Yeah,
Cool.
good times.
It is exciting. Have you ridden on any of those cobble sections? I think it's way worse than what we think. I think the cobble sections are significantly bumpier and harder and nastier than
I've ridden the hell of the North. Old Evergreen Highway?
Old Evergreen Highway.
Isn't that a segment?
It is a segment. You do have the KOM on that segment, Jake. Still.
I don't know, maybe. Anywho.
I'd love to do it. It's got to be on the bucket list. Go out there and do some of those.
Sections.
Koppenberg and yeah.
Anyway. Champ out.
I did it with nothing but my own blood, sweat, and tears, and extra blood.
People dope. Yeah. You know, this is a sport with literally hundreds of dollars on the line and dozens of fans. The stakes are medium.
Come on. How do you beat a man on drugs if you're not on drugs?
Wait, did you just admit to being on drugs?
The EPO chain mail. Send us a text with your questions. Forward this podcast to 15 people, and you'll lose 10 pounds overnight without even trying.
You've got mail.
What's the sweet spot for the amount of time we take off between podcasts now?
4 months, I think.
I wasn't expecting to have this podcast until like early June or something like that.
Right. And here we're only a week out.
I don't think we gave the listeners enough time to
We
submit their inquiries. So
And our last didn't the last week's podcast just came out like 2 days ago?
it came out on Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday. What
we
day is
recorded like
today?
on a Wednesday, and I didn't get the time to post it until like the
yeah.
weekend. I was up at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I should probably get that done right now.
I never saw when it came out because I was in
asleep.
a funk.
Oh, you were in a funk.
semi-sleep.
Yeah. So anyway,
Although, you did text the group this morning at 3:08 a.m., Jake.
I didn't even look and see what time he texted, but I was like, I got the text because I woke up at like 4:30 or whatever because I wake up early like Jake, and I was like, I looked and I got the text from Jake, and I was like, I wonder if this was last night because I go to bed early, or if it was early this morning. And I was gonna look at the time and see what time it was.
3:08.
But I just feel like you and I should have like a long text thread with these guys on the thing.
Hilarious.
At like
Wake up,
4:30.
what the hell? no.
I used to not send it out, but everybody's got their phones on silent now when they're asleep. So I'm like, F it, it's
Just
going.
do it.
Is that the secret to getting a hold of you? Is like text you at 3 o'clock in the morning?
3:34.
Okay.
I enjoy my time from 3 to 6 a.m. because nobody's awake. My wife does get up sometimes to go run or whatnot. Sometimes like 5 o'clock in the morning. But even then, she goes off and she's running, you know. But it's quiet time. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm getting my work done. And
It's the
dogs
best.
are in here snoring still. And yeah, it's good times. So, you know, yeah, hit us up. Let
Hit
us
us
know
up.
say some stuff. Say some funny things. Make fun of us. Have questions. But it was funny because I was looking something up to see if anybody had pinged us, and there's like a little stats thing, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Just the last podcast, it hasn't even been a full week. How many countries / territories do you think people have listened to the podcast in? Like an honest question.
20.
20?
10,000.
There's
Not 10,000 countries.
17.
I wonder how many countries there are.
17. That's pretty
17?
amazing. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean,
17 countries.
20
Honduras, Vietnam, Slovenia, Singapore, Costa Rica, Denmark, Romania, Japan, Taiwan, New Zealand, Spain, Cameroon, Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, of course, the United States. That's amazing to me.
Cameron, those are all just listen bots.
If
Those
you're-
aren't real people.
Listen, boss.
if you're listening to us
Pogačar's
from any of those places, ping us and say hi and say where you're listening to. That is freaking awesome.
I hope we get a message now from Cameroon saying, I'm not a listen bot.
Oh, but it's just, I don't know. It just blows my mind how small the world has become with technology. And I think it's a pretty freaking awesome thing. And I'm going to pull up one other quick stat here because that's why I'm rambling on. Where did it go? Dang it. Oh, locations. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So we switched over to this platform year and some change ago.
Yeah.
And so it gives us way more information and details in terms of the statistics. I think it was like November of 24. So it's been like a year and like 4 or 5 months. Total countries / territories. How many think?
30.
30. Go ahead.
32.
A million.
That's close. Just take off a couple zeros. 101.
101
Wow.
countries?
/
Territories.
Correct. Doesn't that blow your mind? I mean, there's
Territory
like,
of my ass
there's,
count?
you know, I mean, it's not a ton of people, but I mean, let's see here. We've got, I don't know, Denmark. We've got 19 people that listen from Denmark. Say hi to us, you know, just Belarus and Jordan and Kazakhstan. Oh, I
Wow.
didn't know that. What's his name?
Who? Kazakhstan?
Borat.
Borat.
Isn't he from Kazakhstan? Listens to us? I don't know.
No,
Anyway.
that was Kyrgyzstan.
Oh, here's one
Borat
more step.
definitely listened to us.
1,126 different cities.
1,000 different cities?
Yes. Pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah. What do you think the
Way off with my million.
the top two are obviously going to be?
Portland and Vancouver.
Yes. Any takes on what 3, 4, and 5 are?
Camas and
Seattle? No.
Camas isn't even in the
And
top 20.
Beaverton.
Not in the top 20.
I just wanted to say Beaverton.
And again, when I say cities, this is worldwide. This isn't just the United States. So you've actually got the other Vancouver of British Columbia.
What?
Dallas, Texas. Los
Oh.
Angeles. Centerville, Ohio. You got just all kinds of places. So it's pretty cool.
I thought it was only my mom listening to this show. I didn't realize.
She tuned out years ago.
Ian will like this one. This is actually in our top, I think, 15. Gresham, Oregon.
Yeah, I
Lots
know
of
that
listeners there.
place.
Yeah. Anyway, I just like the stats. I think that's pretty cool.
I don't listen to it.
No, I don't. All right, let's move on
Load of
to
bollocks, really.
some of this stuff.
That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot.
That seat is hot. We got hot seat this week, and I feel like we might be a tiny bit underprepared, but hopefully you guys wow me, right?
Oh, we're definitely unprepared.
I have nothing right now.
Us? Unprepared?
Who would like to go first?
Right, I'll go first.
Go.
Right. I'm looking across the table behind you at a beautiful looking brand new
really is
Factor
gorgeous.
road bike
Uh-huh.
in a kind of a blue pink paint scheme. It's really nice.
Can you put your finger on what team might have been writing that exact same custom paint job?
I can't remember.
At the Tour de France
I
last
should
year.
know. Yeah. Don't know. Given what? Who?
Israel Premier Tech.
Ah.
Really?
Okay.
Yep. That's the exact. That's a custom painted. They call it the watercolors, and that's the exact frame that they were riding on.
Really freaking
it was
cool.
very limited, and there was one person that did all of those frames. I think he's in Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe South Korea. It's one of those two places. They told me the story, and they sought him out because he's an artist to do this. And he agreed to do it. So he was able to do just a handful of frames a month. And they obviously did the whole team. But then he agreed to do a few more, and we were able to get our hands on one of them.
How did you get your hands on one? Because you know people?
Hey, let me ask my question.
Ask nicely. Go ahead.
Anyway, beautiful looking Factor Ostro van.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only thing with it is it looks like it's got like little 35 millimeter deep rims on it. So my question... Is there any need these days? Is there any point in having the low profile climbing wheels anymore on a bike?
If you like to climb, sure.
Well, if you watched the race last weekend, Pogačar was riding like 60 millimeter deep aero rims on a essentially climbing course.
Yeah.
And that's the way all the pros are going, given that there is probably a handful of grams difference.
Yeah.
Like, now we've got these wheel technology down and we're running disc brakes and we're running wider tires. Is there any place for low profile rims? That is my question. Discuss.
I have no desire to ride on anything shallower than a 40 mil. Back when I used to ride bicycles, 40s were the sweet spot for me. That I did have some 60s and 65s, if I'm not mistaken. Liked them, but I felt like I got blown around a little bit when it got breezy out. So, I mean, you can find certain situations where you can kind of play that to your advantage, but I didn't like having to even think about that. The 40s were just always the sweet spot. They weren't too heavy to climb. They weren't too shallow to not get the aerodynamic benefits, and it just kind of accomplished everything I wanted to quite well. So, anyway.
What do you reckon, Hapler? Would you buy a bike with 35 millimeter rims?
I probably would not. On almost for the same reasons as Jake. I don't need super lightweight like climbing rims because I suck at climbing. Maybe that's why. But I really plan my rides and races for the descents anyway, and I want all the aero advantage I could get. So I'll go with deeper rims. If it's not howling windy, yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I think
I was just looking at that race this weekend. I mean, all the top pros were running deep dish aero rims, and I think even with the wind situation, things have gotten better. Like you can run a 60 millimeter rim and not feel those side winds as much as in the past.
There is a way to make the shape of the carbon, that elliptical thing, make it just with some grooves in it that allows for more side wind force to not cause as many issues. And so some of the zip wheels look like that.
Yeah.
So that maybe that's not as much of an issue anymore.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot in the weight, is there? Like
not a lot, and wheels are expensive.
Wheels are expensive, but still, it's still fun to have climbing stuff and have. I don't know. I think that it would be fun to have, like, hop on it and be like, oh, you can feel like you can climb faster on this particular wheel set. I think that might be there's value to that.
Yeah,
it's not a ton, but there's always more weight to take off the rider than the wheels. But that's okay. It's still fun to have lighter weight bikes and things like that.
Our good friend and teammate Michael Myers had a bike that he had built up prior to things that happened. It was a Trek. I can't remember which one it was. And everything on it was 100% geared towards being as light as it could possibly be.
It was a weight weenie bike.
It was a weight weenie bike that weighed about 10.5 pounds total. And it had a shallower.
Was it the Trek Imonda?
I think that might have been what it was. It was a Trek. I can't remember which one it was though.
I can look it
up. But that bike was like, you picked it up and you're like, this is stupid. And I could see like, okay, maybe for that kind of a bike, if you really want to make something that light, maybe that makes sense. But that's the only use case scenario I can see for something that's going to be a little bit more shallow.
Yeah, that's the Imonda. Yeah. That's their lighter bike. Yeah.
Everything on that thing was geared towards, he had this carbon fiber paper thin seat that was super uncomfortable, probably, that weighed next to nothing. The whole thing was carbon. And
In the UK, they have this series of races, the British Hill Climb Championships.
Yes, I've seen that. That's
they're
cool.
mostly shorter, punchy hills, steep hills. And if it's sort of anything goes as far as the bike goes. So you see incredible examples of lightweight bikes.
Right.
Like people will cut their drop handlebars off below the brake levers to save weight. No bar tape.
It's a whole culture.
It's a whole culture, yeah.
Which is actually really interesting. I think there's a guy that I follow on YouTube that's part of like the weight weenie culture, and like everything's weighed, and and then you buy the next thing that weighs less, and it's just like crank arms. Every single thing that can be hollowed out is. It's just very interesting. And I think it's kind of fun. Like, people collect cars, people collect baseballs. Cards. There's interesting things to collect, and like lightweight bikes. Why not? Like, it's neat. There's different pedal systems for lighter weight stuff too. There's a lot that you can do to reduce weight on a bike.
I think it also. I believe I'm right in saying it's the only sanctioned bike racing where you don't have to wear a helmet because it's just
uphill.
an uphill, relatively slow.
Oh, really?
effort. Time trial uphill, yeah. So anyway, good stuff.
That still looks so weird to me when you see people riding
Without a helmet.
without a helmet that are like on a race bike but aren't wearing a helmet. You still see it on hill climbs and places. I've seen it in Tucson a few times. I've seen it here a few times.
I think rim brakes are still lighter than disc brakes, if I remember correctly. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah. Lots of stuff. Lots of fun things.
To your helmet thing, this isn't my hot seat question. I see this often. Would you say something? I've seen just recently 2 boys riding on e-bikes, and they're riding down the road, and they've got helmets with them clipped together, hanging off their handlebar as they're riding down the road. And then I saw 2 girls on e-scooters, same exact scenario. I'm like,
helmet's not on.
Just hanging
on the
like, they
handlebar.
have it. I'm like, hey, I'm glad you got that helmet with you. That's awesome.
We always used to so I taught my kids to yell out the window out of the car at people that didn't wear their helmets.
Yeah.
And they, and we would just be like, I'm glad you're protecting the handlebars. Like, cause that's always the thing.
That's the smart way to do it. Yep.
Yeah. Protect the handlebars of that bike.
I'm like, I feel like I need to say something.
Not your head.
Like, no, you don't say anything.
No.
You're going to embarrass me again.
Teach your kids to yell out the window.
That's well
that's
played,
the
yeah.
key.
Yep. My kids never go anywhere with me anymore, but
Yeah.
got to have some more kids. All right.
Yeah.
Or no.
At least practice.
Would you say
Or
something?
grandkids.
Anyway.
Could teach the grandkids to yell at other kids.
If they're kids, no, you
saying anything, or you
I
just like
probably wouldn't say anything. I just probably like
grumpy
I
old
just
man.
shake my head.
Probably call us a boomer, even though we're Gen X. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Boomers.
Ian, are you
you're
a,
just gonna get the middle finger back if you say
right.
something.
Ian, you're Gen X, yeah? Or are you boomer?
I'm a boomer, apparently.
We learned something new today.
I don't believe in all that stuff.
Oh, it's a thing.
It's a
Well,
carry on.
yeah, sure, but I'm supposed to have all this stuff in common with people that were born in like 1945, which
you
is
do. You do.
maybe I do.
Get off my lawn.
The funny part is all 4 of us who are like contemplating, should we yell at people out the window? All of us, every single one of us grew up riding bikes without helmets on.
You're right.
Because we're old as F. Right.
You're right.
And seeing how fast your bike could go without a helmet downhill, like, and then like, take the brakes off because that'll make your bike faster. Like, this is all stuff that we did.
I still ski without a helmet. Like I'm one of the only people up on the slopes without a helmet on skiing. And it's like, yeah.
Crazy.
As they say, those trees may blur at 40 miles an hour, but they don't bend. So you
Sonny Bono.
yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
Anything else? Are we done with that
Done.
question?
Done.
Did we all answer your question?
I think so.
Stay
Did we?
target. We're too close. Stay on target.
They're assholes.
Who's next?
They're assholes, sir.
All right. Who's got a question?
Okay, so there's this company, Van Rysel, is trying to introduce a 500-gram wearable airbag because we're about safety here and not wearing helmets. So this is an apt conversation to follow that one. Would you guys use a 500-gram? You could call it like an aero airbag system. So it sits on your back, like almost like a.
Does it shoot out your butt?
Yep. And it basically comes up and over your head if you're in some sort of crash. Covers vital organs and things like that. So
is it like a fanny pack that you like strap on your back?
It almost looks like it fits. It almost looks like a camelback.
Okay.
Okay. So, but it's kind of like, it looks almost, it's tight. It looks like it's built into your jersey almost. Like it doesn't look, the one I saw a picture of doesn't look too, in fact, you know, if you were to really think about this, like that technically makes you more aerodynamic if you have a camelback kind of system on your back. Anyway.
How's it triggered with like accelerometers?
You're not going to believe this. I haven't prepped for this podcast enough to know the tech, but we got to assume that it's got to be just like your Garmin watch that, you know, sometimes you go over a curb and it goes off.
Fantastic.
Right?
My Garmin watch has told me that I've died 14 times. My wife
times.
So
it's got to be accelerometer.
Right.
I would worry about just that. I mean, the amount of times that
this thing explodes on you.
My watch or my Garmin has told me incident detected.
Yeah.
And if that resulted in this pyrotechnic thing going off on, over
punching
my
you
head,
in the back of the head.
So
that would cause a crash, right? If that thing went off.
They're testing it and they want to put it in the pro peloton within the next like year and a half.
No, none of them are going to wear that thing.
Well, I mean,
I love this idea. This is a fantastic idea as far as safety.
If it works perfectly.
Right? If it works perfectly.
Right.
But none of it does. We can't even figure out tires that work perfectly. You know, I've been doing it for 150 years.
But I feel like airbags in cars are pretty. I mean, there was this massive recall, like whatever it was, 20 years ago, that airbags were killing people. But
too forceful.
Yeah, this was a big problem a little while ago. Anyway, so within airbags within cars, maybe that's a bad example, but we seem to be doing pretty well on that system. I don't know if there's something, again, accelerometers might be our point of failure, our weak point, but if they could get the technology, is this something that you guys would use on? Would you be like, okay, maybe I would use this in a dangerous situation. Normally I wouldn't, or would you just be like, sure, I'll wear this all the time?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Out of a scale, on a scale of 1 to 100, say the technology works, would you use it daily or not? Scale of 1 to 100, so you got a little range there.
I would say 15.
15, like pretty much no. Pretty much no. Okay.
Because I would like bunny hop one curb and the thing would blow on me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
are you less than 15?
No, but I'm with Lance unless the technology was super foolproof. And also only if the pros used it, because I'm a vain, fashion-conscious roadie
honestly,
who obsesses over the color of his socks and all that kind of thing.
There's something real to be said there. Sometimes it's like if the pros do it, it's like, they're doing it. So there's some, it must be okay. Right. Like there's real value to that. I think if these companies get things into the hands of the pros or whatever it is, like they're using this bike, so it must not be made of Chinesium and it must be safe enough. You know what I mean? Like there's this like the click in your head of like, oh, this might be okay to use.
I think there'll be a lot of pushback from the pros. I mean, only 20 years ago, the pros were, most of the pros were dead against wearing helmets.
And then it was disc brakes and
and then it was disc brakes. And it seems crazy now that people would put up arguments against wearing a helmet in a road race, but that was the case. And I think
you just worry about these. I mean, they're kids in some ways, and they're falling off mountains, and like we like these guys die in some of these races. It's not like it happens every year, but like almost like every other year, every 3 years, I feel like we'd lose someone. I don't know if a system like this could help.
I think there's definitely a place for it. Like, I mean, I have really mixed feelings about some of the, like the Red Bull type extreme mountain bike stuff. Because
if it was in that like they're talking about the pro peloton in this article, but it'd be interesting to be like, well, this technology was flushed out with
the Red Bull Rampage
downhill. Yeah, I mean, of course.
To answer your question, like when you first said that, I'm like, ooh, I've had a bad run-in with a car before.
Yeah.
And what would have done would that have helped me in any way? I mean, I don't think it would have hindered me, but I'm like, that's plausible for that, given this, if it wasn't cost prohibitive, if it wasn't something that was super clunky or uncomfortable.
Let's say it costs $500.
Oof.
I totally made up a number. I have no idea what it would really cost.
That seems a little heavy for something that I would want to purchase to do that. I don't know. I would have to see some pretty
compelling evidence.
Exactly. To make me want to have it. If it was compelling enough, maybe.
And I just can't imagine it being $100.
Then I got to think, I'm like, yeah, I would probably just use it for the road. I wouldn't need to use that for any off-road stuff. And then I got to think about that a little bit more. I'm like, if I'm bombing down like a big logging road or a forest road and going way too fast and I overcook something on a gravel bike, maybe that would be a good thing to have.
Let me ask you a hot seat follow-up question.
800 euros.
800 euros? Okay. That's 500 was a good guess.
I think it would be great for downhill sports like Red Bull, Rampage stuff, downhill mountain bike racing, stuff like that, where the the weight or the uncomfortableness of the product wouldn't be a hindrance.
Am I allowed to do a follow-up question?
Yes, absolutely.
Follow-up hot seat questions against the rules. So let's say the technology works and maybe the price comes down some, and you made the purchase. Would you be more risk? I was going to say risk averse, but that's the opposite of that. Would you be more willing to take on risky
that's a good point.
descents or risky?
No, because that ish still hurts no matter what.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But you just know, like, I'm in this race and I kind of want to bomb down this hill and I got this safety thing on. I don't know.
I don't think that would change my personal perspective. It might. Even to this day, if I go out on a bike ride and I'm going to be on the road, before I go, I've got this little voice inside of me. It's like, this could be the last thing. Yeah. This could be the one. You've dealt with this before. It could happen again. People are just getting worse.
Yep.
It might take a little bit of that edge off. So maybe.
But then I think at least I'm going to go out having fun.
True. Yep. Yeah. One way to look at it.
All right. That's it.
It's a good product.
Hot seat out.
Kind of cool. See
How much is 800 euros? That's like $1,200 or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's more.
It's
More than that?
Well, I don't know now.
I think
It's more like 900 bucks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's not that.
Yeah. Still, that's expensive. But if it saves, someone in the pro peloton, that would
That's
be
the thing.
$940. Honestly, like the first life it saves in the pro peloton, they're going to be like, oh, well, we're all doing this now.
Yeah.
If it doesn't start blowing up on people in the mid pack while they're trying to sprint.
They bump elbows.
They bump each other.
You slap the guy in his back.
There's an eject button you can hit.
Yes.
So you just go by and boop, hit the button. I don't want that guy racing anymore.
He got booped.
This is good tech.
Yeah.
I think the way it'll come into the pro peloton is there'll be a team who gets sponsorship contingent on them wearing it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that'll be its way in. But
I think if you can bring the price down, bring the weight down, and make it be something that's not going to be uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form, like
what
you
else?
You have to get it to the point where you would say, "Why wouldn't you wear that?"
yeah,
The other thing that could bring it into the pro peloton, if like to sell it to the riders, if you put this thing on your back, you are more aerodynamic, you are faster, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Well, hell, you have to
win."
It's a big thing in MotoGP, right? On the motorcycles, they all wear them now.
Okay.
Do they really?
Yeah.
It's like an airbag,
Like
thing?
airbag things?
Airbags along their spine, on the back, in the leather,
Really?
leathers, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, there is an article here that says that the airbag is going to be integrated into a skin suit.
Huh.
So it's not even like a thing you put on; it's in the skin suit.
In the
So
suit.
it just inflates inside the skin suit. What about the head though? How does it
I
protect
think
the
it
head?
comes up and over your head when it inflates.
Interesting.
Well, the old ones that I saw a long time ago used to do that. They would like come up and almost like form a helmet, but of an airbag.
I'm sure they listen to the podcast as well.
They
Maybe
do.
they can send us some samples and we'll send Lance out. We'll
I'll
just take
try
him
it.
do a bunch
Yeah.
of crashing.
I'll bunny hop it.
See if he lives or not.
Speaking of, should we do dumb stuff?
Yes.
Now that we have this technology,
We have this technology and an idiot who will do it.
let's do it.
Epler, you got a question for us?
I got a question.
What?
Okay, so are we in this like golden age of cycling where we have these incredible athletes who seem to be so far and above and beyond everybody else? We have Pogačar, we have Van der Poel, we have Van Aert, we have Remco. you know, and these guys seem to be on such a different level than everybody else in the pro peloton. Are these guys just specimens? Are they just unique individuals that are just, you know, made for cycling? Or has this happened in every other generation too? Like in Merckx's generation, there was Merckx and there was probably 2 or 3 other guys that were also really good. Or in the 80s, you know, they had 3 or 4 guys that were all really good. I'm failing to coming up with names. Or are these 4 guys right now that we are looking at really that much better athletes than everybody else?
First and foremost, you look at all of those names and look at the countries that they come from, and look at other sports
Slovenia, Belgium.
Look at
Netherlands.
What other sports are popular in those areas?
That's a good point.
It's predominantly going to be like soccer, right?
Soccer, yes.
There's not they're not being diluted with 30 different sports to choose from, and therefore the best athletes are going into those sports. And I've always said this, the best cyclists in the world aren't riding bikes. If the United States had a fraction of the sports that it had, and cycling was one of those, I can tell you without question that we would probably have some superhuman out there riding and racing bikes that would absolutely crush. But that person probably doesn't care about bikes because they probably have ridden them before, but they just don't care because they're making gazillions of dollars just playing a different sport, doing something else. Whereas you go to these other countries, you've got these superhuman people that are just out of this world. And as time goes by, you've got them, you know, riding more refined equipment. The training is like more precise. The food, the nutrition, the everything, all the marginal gains, all that stuff comes together. So we've got these superhuman people, and they're superhumans in all these different cultures that are specifically focused on cycling, and that's what we're looking at.
That's interesting. I mean, you look at Tade, and he's not like this physical specimen.
No,
you know, he just looks like a skinny kid
with a massive VO2, and puts out like good watts for size.
For his size,
yeah.
But that's kind of normal for cycling. He doesn't. Of course, he looks like a normal cyclist.
He does. Yeah.
I think that there's probably a whole bunch of different factors playing into this. Yes, there's a little bit of a crap answer, but like, yes, there were standout people back in the day. And also, yes, for sure what Jake is saying about how there are certain countries where there is more pressure and more prestige to participating in our sport. And that's going to affect who chooses what sport and things like that within a country. I also think that there's drug use probably still going on, and probably some really interesting stuff. Like there's don't be suspicious. Actually, I think it was like, I feel like years ago, Evan Price and I were like getting on our conspiracy hats and talking about like how maybe there's genetic manipulation stuff going on, and I think that that's probably the case.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case.
I think that in the past, the waters have been muddied because of the drug use. Like it was hard to differentiate talent, which, you know, or genetic ability from those who took more drugs. I mean, it wasn't as measurable in decades gone by.
So maybe that's interesting, right? Because if there was a block of 20 years where EPO kind of leveled the playing field, then you don't have as many of those standout athletes.
But did it level the playing field? Were those elite athletes just that much more elite than the others? I mean, they've always said that if Lance Armstrong never did any of the drugs and raced against everybody else, not doing the drugs, he would have still won. But
we don't know, and that's just we will never be able to know that. And I also think that one of the because then we're like saying, okay, well, we're kind of comparing genetics to genetics, right? So then at that point, like, what are those genetics? Those genetics are like a predisposition to carrying more oxygen in your blood, which guess what EPO does? It does exactly that. Yeah. So it's kind of like, well, then that kind of takes that genetic advantage away if everyone's doing EPO. I think that could be part of it. And we also could just be living through a little bit of a special time right now. I do think that Tadej Pogačar is the greatest of all time.
I think what has happened is
hard to argue with that.
I think now it is established. The podcast has decided.
I think what's happened is all the other variables have become homogenized, right? The training, nutrition are pretty much there's sort of got to be one way of doing things right now. That the training methods have become so effective that everybody's training the same. nutrition science has become so well understood that everybody's doing the same thing. So the only thing that is differentiating the really good from the just really good, the really, really good from the great is genetics, or what we term talent now is those people that are genetically gifted. And maybe what's different is that we're able to scout out those people and spot those people who would otherwise be hidden in the general populace. You know, there's always been those freaks of nature are out there, but we've never been able to identify who that is. And you know, there's probably people with incredible potential VO2 max that have never ridden a bike, never done anything athletic in their life.
Right.
But maybe what's happening now is we're able to spot those people and channel them into these endurance sports.
Well, and you've got these kids coming up, like this Paul Sexius, this French kid who's 19, or Brennan.
So what's happened is somebody's scouted him out and seen the potential, and maybe that wasn't the case in the past.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday with Mike Woods.
The Canadian.
Yeah,
he used to be
who was a
and
runner, and then he was a Grand Tour rider for a number of years.
Is he done?
He's done.
But I really liked him. He never quite got there.
Well, he won a Tour de France stage, and he won like 3 stages of the Giro, and he was third in the World Championships one year, so he had a pretty good thing. But his cycling, he was discovered because he had some running. He had a coach that was helping him. He was just trying to break into cycling, and the coach did some testing on him, and his freaking test numbers were off the chart. Yeah. Like his coach came back and said, "Quit your job. You're going to be a professional bike rider." And he's like, "What? This sucks." And you know, but he did, because he had those numbers, and somebody just was able to test him, and he did well. So I mean,
yeah.
How do you find those?
You
people?
know, also you have these Zwift. What is it? The Zwift
races or the championships or something like that.
There's a program within Zwift where
I know
basically you can just look through the data and look at a million athletes and go, "Oh my God, look at this!" You know, and then recruit them to your team.
Didn't Jay Vine come from that?
Possibly. But
yeah,
Vingegaard got scouted on Strava because he put up some crazy times on a cycling social media app. You know,
so I think that's what's happening, right? Is people that otherwise wouldn't have featured in biking have now been spotted and recruited.
Sure. Going back to those people from those countries, they have a full like ecosystem for this that starts at a very, very, very young age, and they develop them. The kids here, generally speaking, from the United States, I mean, how old are they when they're like actually getting discovered to be a very talented cyclist? They're probably in their mid to late teens, where some of these other kids have probably been on their bikes training since they were like 6 or 7 years old because they see something in them.
Right.
Crazy. I don't know. Good question, though. I like it. Anything else?
Nope.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to just ask mine real quick and then we'll move on. Matt and I were having a deep discussion for far too long before the podcast, and Lance and you were probably going, God, well, these guys
We were yapping about something else.
We were talking about all kinds of AI stuff and like all of the cool things that it can do now. And God, do you remember the podcast we did many years ago?
Yeah, we were. That was
we tried to have it make it like write us a training program.
It probably did okay. I mean,
it was ChatGPT, like the very first early model,
3.5 or something
like that. Yeah. So it's come a long way since then. Turns out it's pretty useful stuff now. I'm curious, what AI models are you guys using these days? How are you using them for all of your cycling endeavors and planning? And are you using it in your purchase making decisions?
It's okay to say no.
No, I'm using it quite a bit these days. I use Coach Cat as my coach.
Oh, right.
Okay, that's an AI-based program.
It's an AI-based program based on Frank. I can't remember his name right now.
Frolic? No, that's a different.
I can't believe that I can't remember Frank's name. Coach Frank's name. He's like Phil Guyman's coach and all these other. He taught they're not using like an LLM to just answer different questions. He actually developed his own base with his own coaching.
The model's trained on his responses.
Models trained on his responses, and so the responses are all like they're coming from him.
Sure.
So, and I've been using him for a couple years, and I have found that works decent for me because I don't have accountability to a real human. And that's probably one of the reasons why I don't race as well as I do, because I race way too much, and a real human coach would say, "You're an idiot," and I already know I'm an idiot. That's been established.
Yeah.
And so, but I like racing. That's part of my life. Is
part of the fun.
Is to race, and part of the fun. So, so I do use that coach app. I try not to promote that on this podcast because
It's a secret.
it's not a secret.
No,
It's
it
because Ian is a
Aren't you using
fantastic
that
coach.
Dodgy Winkers AI training program? Aren't you using that
It's
too?
the Dodgy Winkers AI program.
What about
I will concede that of all the AI applications in sports, then remote coaching programs is probably most suited to AI. It's definitely I'm feeling it. There's always this media discussion about the perils of AI and who's going to lose their jobs because of it. And I think I'm one of those people for sure. It's most suited to this thing. However, I think it still only works if you're a highly motivated athlete.
You're right.
If you've got actual goals, real goals, and know what you're training for and have the motivation, then it does kind of work for you. But there's a huge range of people's motivations out there. Yeah. Even within my own clients, there's people that stick to the program religiously. There's some that can't for whatever reason. Yeah. And if you gave all those people an AI based coaching program to follow, some of them would do better than others on it.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can't replace the human connection, the human element to that. Your personal anecdotes, your understanding, your empathy for where they're at, the ability to recognize things that they might not see, to help people realize that maybe they're being a little bit passion blind about something and not looking at the bigger picture. AI can tell you some of that, but it can't give you that human element or that human touch the same way.
It's also only going to respond to questions and things that you lead it towards. It's not going to be like, hey, listen, I saw this race that you did and where your power numbers dipped here. And really what we need to do is save ourselves for this spot and attack this spot. Like, you're going to see stuff and make proactively. I mean, think about how huge that is for a coach to be able to proactively make recommendations for change. Like, that's crazy compared to an AI that will never do that.
I mean, I think a coach can be familiar with not only that athlete's abilities, but his or her potential rivals in the race. We know the local cycling community, the particular parcours, like what course is suited to a particular athlete. There's all kinds of things that an AI model can't really capture, and not least of which is the whole accountability thing. It's like one thing being having your AI scold you for not doing a session 100%.
Let's just say racing too much.
Yeah.
One problem I have found with it drastically underestimates my ability to absorb training. It thinks I'm always doing too much training, and I think Jake laughs immediately because that would, if you would look at my Strava, you'd think, yeah, you're doing way too much, but it's what my body is able to absorb and do, and I know that about myself. It reads my sleep data every morning, and it gives me an outlook on the day. Like, okay, your HRV is this, your sleep hours were this, your resting heart rate was this. This is what you can look at for the day, and maybe you should back off because your HRV was 20 beats lower. And
I mean, those are
I don't do that.
Objective measurements you can make, but the other reason why high volume training kind of works for you is because you have very little other stressors in your life, right?
I can recover the rest of the day.
Yeah. So training stress adds on to all the other ways you stress your body. So it's a one big thing, really. Yeah. And that's why you can probably do a high volume of training, because the rest of your life is not.
Like when we go to training
stressful.
camp, we're going to go do 20, 25 hours. And before you go into I'm going to die, but you forget that, I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
You just go, you
That's
ride your bike,
right.
and you recover. That's Lance's life because Lance is an asshole.
That's I'm an asshole.
So can your AI program take that into account? Does it look at the rest of your life?
It gives you like a load. Like it gives you like a load number for like the last rolling like 2 weeks, like how much effort you've actually done.
But does it take into account the load of life? Like the other things?
No.
Right.
No, it doesn't know that. It can't know that.
Although,
Unless
this
you-
last week I've woken up and I'm like, I'm in tooth pain. I ain't doing crap today. Please change my training plan for the next few days because I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get back on the bike.
fixes
and
everything
fixes
forward, which
Yeah.
is impressive.
It moves it all forward, but then it underestimates
Everything.
what I can do. Still.
What about outside of like training plans, stuff like that? Even maybe outside of cycling, do you pull up ChatGPT and talk to it or use it ever?
Yes.
Or do you a little bit?
When I'm traveling, I have it do itineraries for me.
Oh, okay.
But instead of having to try to find like, I'm going to have a 14-hour layover in Frankfurt. Do I just sleep that whole time, or is there something I can see in a 4-hour session between this time and this time, and my hotel's here, and it will give me a itinerary to go do that. I'm in the market for another set of tires. What are the 5 tires I really should be considering, and what are their prices, and where can I get them? So I use ChatGPT with.
Do you pay for ChatGPT?
I don't.
Okay. It's free for people. I mean, it's good. The free option is excellent. Ian, have you played around with any of these things like ChatGPT at all?
No, not a whole lot.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I don't think you have to. I mean, because you like Google stuff, right? Like if you need to figure out something.
Yeah, I'm still.
Which Google is
kind of Jake and I were talking about this earlier, and I hate to admit it, but I'm falling behind the curve on this technology.
Well, even when you Google stuff, there's like
there's an AI
summary
section at the top. You can take the AI section or look at your results,
which is good.
I think it's funny the AI feedback I get from Strava on my ride.
That's freaking terrible.
The worst.
It is terrible. It's always so encouraging. You may have sucked today, but at least
must be running ChatGPT.
Something.
You can turn that off.
Yeah.
There is a
No,
way.
I like it.
Okay,
Do
never
you
mind.
like it? Yeah.
You need a cheerleader?
Yeah.
Then take your cheerleader.
That's funny. So you pay for FastCat? Is that the only AI thing that you pay for?
Yes.
But you, Ian?
I don't pay for
Any AI?
not
Matt,
that
how
I'm
many
aware
AI
of, no.
things are you paying for?
Only. I'm trying to think. Like two for sure. I don't know. Maybe less than 5.
Okay,
we'll say that.
What are some other ways that you guys use it for cycling other than coaching? And Lance alluded to purchasing product. Do you guys?
I once used it to write a blog.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just and it needed to be one step. You need to go over it again, stuff like that. I imagine fix things.
Yeah,
Just like,
You had to go back in and
It's a good place to get. It's helpful to get things started.
And then I just felt, it sounded good, it looked good, but it wasn't
Lacked
really me.
human.
Your voice,
right?
yeah.
It wasn't my voice necessarily. So the subsequent blogs I just wrote myself.
Yeah. I think it might be good for you to get, like, if you're working on a blog post or something like that, be like, here's 2 points that I want to make or whatever. I really could use 3 points. I feel like there's like, it could be help you for like idea generation as well.
Yeah.
But I don't like the way that doesn't sound like you.
I think there's a lot of ways AI could improve, could enhance my life that I'm just not using its potential right now.
Do you ever use it for like race course recon? Like asking you questions about that?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, maybe I should.
I wonder if it could.
I'm sure it could. I can use GPS data, and I'm sure if you maybe fed it some information about you, what kind of rider you are, what kind of weight you are, what your power numbers are.
You might be surprised because some of that information is very fragmented. Because like it's hard to get access to Strava data, which is where the best data would be probably in the entire world for cycling, for race cycling stuff. And it's just hard to get access to that from an AI.
I think it's
not
really
impossible.
It is really easy to get out of touch with all of these tools now. I'm finding it now. I'm retired. It's when you remove yourself from the workplace, some of that technology is just not as relevant. And even though there are a myriad of applications you could use to enhance your personal life, once you're not using it professionally anymore, it just seems to melt away, I guess.
Well, that also means that you're
Along
doing
with
life
all of
right
your
because you're
worries.
just focused
Yeah.
on the things that are most important to you.
Yeah.
Even though you are curious that way, but you're having fun. You're traveling, you're riding, you're doing all that fun stuff. So that's cool. Any other ways that you guys think you could use AI that you're not, that could be beneficial in some way, shape, or form? We'll say, try and keep it to cycling, I guess, to a degree. Do you use it for any meal prep? Do you use it for any, like, planning out like what kind of macros you need and what your nothing there?
I have had it do race plans for me. Like, this is the race I'm doing. This is how many. This is what the climbs are like. This is how long it is. Give me a nutrition plan for the race and a race strategy for the race, and it will.
I think that's the key is like you provide a lot of context to the AI and it can start to give you really good answers.
Yeah.
You could even
Optimize
give
this,
it a GPX file if you
I
wanted
even,
to.
I even
an
have
elevation.
I even have it break down my like a race performance.
Yeah.
Hey, how did you feel about this? Okay, actually, tell me where this was good. Tell me where this was bad. This is what happened. This is why. I had to do that when I did Belgium Waffle Ride Arizona because I chased for like 3.5 hours because I had that flat early on. And so I chased for so long and I explained, hey, this is what happened during this race. Tell me what you think about this. And then they were like, oh, that skews the data quite a bit. And this is why it's so much better than what we thought. Anyway, so I've done it to use that.
That's cool.
As a side note, some of the hardest TSS, the biggest TSSs I've ever had have been in that exact situation where something happens during your race and you spend an hour chasing.
Yeah.
That's,
There's a lot of cool ways you can use this stuff right now. I implore people to go out there, just ask it some questions, see how it can help you with doing different things. It's been pretty awesome for a while. Matt and I were talking about this before. In the last 3 months, seems like there's been another quantum leap. So that'd be worth taking a peek at.
Good.
Yeah. That's it. I did have one other question, but it's just like, how do you vet these answers to make sure that they're legit, they're good, they're not?
How do you vet the questions from the AI?
The answers the AI gives you, because
a
lot of these models are very much people pleasing answers, and there's some hallucinations in there. I can speak, I swear. You got to go out there and make sure what it's giving you is legitimate. So,
like, what are the sources for these answers?
Correct.
And then you look it up, and
sometimes though it's like it will fill in a gap with what it thinks or what it assumes or what it thinks you want to hear, which can kind of steer the whole conversation or the whole like quality of the feedback it's giving you. So
I think the more time you spend with these models, the more you'll start to sniff test. Like it's kind of like what's the classic like sniff test example? That doesn't pass the sniff test, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so I think you'll start to like learn like you're going sideways here, like you're going off track, and you
is this underwear clean?
Right. Sniff test.
Sniff test.
Nope. All right.
Right. The AI model said it was wrong.
It was wrong.
Very wrong.
Moving on. Let's do some one last thing stuff. LeGrand.
Okay, so I think we talked last week, and I talked about the new e-bike I had. I meant to write it up here, but I forgot. Anyway, I'll write it up here for the next podcast.
Yep.
So there's a video about that, and that was a pretty fun video to make. I think I have some watches coming up, a Polar Grit X, which is tough because it's a watch that you want the best for these companies from Polar and things like that. And I've been using this watch a ton. I've been using it for well over 100 days, and it's just not that good. And it's expensive. So it's just like, it puts you in a tough place where you're like, I mean, I'll find nice things to say about it. It does fine. It's nice, blah, blah, blah. It like checks a lot of the boxes, but it's just not something I would recommend. And I don't know how to, I'm struggling with the whole, like, how do I say that on camera to whatever, a couple thousand people? No one's going to watch my channel. But if they do, I don't want to be like, completely blast this thing. But it's just not a watch I would recommend to anyone. So
I think people would appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Unless you're paid to
almost everyone would appreciate that, except for Polar.
Correct.
And that's okay.
And they send you stuff all the time to test.
They used to send me more stuff, and so and that's okay. It's just I think the people that work there, like, I want this balance, right, of being respectful to the people that, like, there's someone that like stayed up late working on this watch, and I don't want to just I want to be respectful to that person as well as the person that's like, I don't know if I should buy this. And the answer is no, you should not buy this, but also respectful to the person that spent a lot of time working on this. Like, good job. You stayed up late working on this watch and you did something miraculous. This is an amazing product. It's just not where the market is right now.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Be real.
Yeah. I know.
You know,
We're
say
trying.
say what you like about it, but give the constructive criticism that's due. And
I think people kind of have to like watch my review and read between the lines a little bit to be like, yeah, he's not pumped about this one.
I would bet, though, not only would a negative review be bad for the manufacturers, but I don't know if that video would be as popular.
That's true.
I feel that
that's true.
Some of the people that watch those review type videos are people that have already
decided
purchased, and they're sort of trying to validate their own purchase. And when you have something negative to say about it, they don't want to hear
that.
Right?
They just spent $600 on a watch. They don't want to hear anything.
They were
negative
hoping for somebody to say, "What a good purchase that was."
In fact, sometimes people will make the purchase on Amazon or whatever, and it's still being delivered, and then they start watching all these reviews.
Yeah.
So they really don't want to hear anything negative. But
I got the 30-day return window, though.
Yeah, I still feel like you click on my video, you're gonna get the honest.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I mean, I might sugarcoat it a little bit, but like we're gonna at least the review itself is honest. I hope. Anyway, coming up, be on the lookout for that one, and then I do have a whole bunch of watches that are really awesome coming up as well. This watch hasn't been reviewed yet. This watch is the Garmin Forerunner 970. It's been out for forever. I've had it for a while, and I still haven't reviewed it. It's great. I've got the Venue 4, the Garmin Venue 4, which is another watch that my wife's been wearing. It's fantastic. She's been wearing that a long time. She loves the flashlight, built-in flashlight. And so just tons of watches that I need to get to. I need to get my arse in gear to get some reviews out the door.
Good on you.
Yep.
One last thing, Bob.
One last thing. We're still 4 weeks away, so this is probably not the last time I'm going to mention this.
That's okay.
One last thing
today is that I am working on my Barton Park road race that is happening on May the 9th. So I've got permits, I got my flaggers, I got my picnic shelter reserved. I went out and checked out the course. Everything looks great. Really would like people to sign up and race it. Could well be the last year I do this. It's getting financially less secure, I would say. Costs are going up.
But if you had a whole bunch of people show up, you might be inclined to do it again next year. So
I mean, that's the thing. I love doing it for the community. I think it's great that people have these races to go to, but I understand why a lot of them are fading away.
What if there's some sort of insurance policy? Like, this is be a cool thing for Oprah to like provide, where it's like, hey, you're going to pay a little bit of money for this insurance policy, but if you come out negative, the insurance policy like falls into place and it covers the loss.
Promoters insurance.
This is. I'm just wondering, and maybe there's something like this that exists, but I know like this is a common thing for like farmers, right? They're looking at the weather and the weather's not looking good, and they have this option to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Could even be like a threshold, not necessarily like losing money, but like you have to make at least this much money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the threshold right now is, I would guess, I need 100 people to show up. Last year I had 150, so it should be fine, right? But all it would take would be a crappy weather forecast, and then you're not so sure. So it's right on that threshold. Shall I do it? Shall I not do it? It's rewarding, but at the same time, it's a stress fest. And
well, let me ask you this: how's the weather when you had 150 people?
It was nice. It was good weather.
So that's tight then. That's bad because then, like, yes, if you had 250 on a nice day and you're like 150 on a not so great day, then you're probably safe. But
what's the cost to do the race?
It's going to cost me
not to you, to the racer to come out.
Oh, to come out, $50.
$50, okay,
good price.
And then you're going to have like your 4 or 5 field, probably like a 3 field, and like your 1-2 field. Is that going to be how it's broken down?
It's going to be the standard breakdown, Masters age categories plus race 3s and 4s and 1-2s, and the standard kind of
so
setup.
Masters and like broken into 3 chunks effectively.
40s, 50s, 60s.
Gotcha. Yeah. How many laps will each of those respective categories do?
Let's see. The longest race will be 8.5 laps, and I think that's 60 plus miles. The medium distance, so most of the Masters categories and the Cat 3s and Cat 4, 5s will do like a 6.5 lap race, which is mid 40s miles, and then the juniors will just do a lap and a half, 2 laps, something like that.
Good. It's a good course. You got that Eden. Is it the Eden Wall? Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
yeah.
It's a fun little one to go battle up. And
It is a fun one, yeah.
I think they're
But
very-
it is weird that you can only charge $50 for these road races. And you know, some of these gravel races now are like $160,
Well-
$175 to do. So
What would happen if you put the price at $65? I don't think that $15.
I don't know.
I don't know if they would bat an eye at that.
I
Extra.
don't know. Like
Someone would complain. I guarantee that. But that's
I
just
think
life.
the way prices have risen, they are getting prohibitive. People are thinking, like I'm thinking, like tomorrow this gravel race, I'm not going to do it because I can't afford it.
It's like over
and
$100 or
that's
something.
getting to the point where, you know, it used to be like it was only a small part of your costs was actual race entry fees. You know, when you take into account your bike and your kit and everything, the race entry was a small part, but it's not that way so much anymore.
True.
And road races, it seems to be particularly sensitive to pricing.
I feel like also there's always this like, hey, I can just go ride my bike. Like you don't feel like you're missing out on that much.
Right. But you are.
But you are, absolutely. Yeah. I wonder if you could raise your prices a touch. Even $5 for, 100 people, it adds up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a balancing act.
Swag or something like that to offset.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have, hopefully I've got kinds of sponsors. So it should be great podium prizes. Just a good atmosphere. It's always been a good atmosphere out there. And
it's fun.
Yeah,
I hope you have good weather.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thanks.
Hopeful.
Yeah.
I've done 3 times, I think, personally. But
yeah.
Cool.
Well, I'm sure, in the weeks coming up, I'll plug it incessantly. So
please do.
You should. Kepler.
Yes, I am going to do the expensive gravel race tomorrow. It's called Sasquatch Duro. It is one of Mike Ripley's events. It is in Carleton. It's close to Portland, actually, in the Yamhill area. So I will go out there. I don't know how I'll feel. We'll just see what happens. I will make a video, so hopefully you'll be able to see how crappily I embarrass myself at this race.
I think you'll surprise yourself.
Cool. I'll be in Greensboro, North Carolina next Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Soccer tournament. I'm watching my daughter play soccer. What's to do there? Lance, you been there before?
I have not been to Greensboro. I've been to Asheville.
Okay.
Gorgeous town.
Okay.
Fantastic. Great food. Nice riding. Greensboro. No. I've not been to Greensboro.
No
Can't
idea.
help you.
I don't think I've ever even been to North Carolina before, but it is what it is. That's where I'll be.
Cool.
Good times. I think that's it. You guys good?
Good.
Get a little longer than 2
Let's
on
roll.
this one. So, all right, we'll be back another one of these days. Who knows when that's going to be, but stay tuned. Thank you for listening, and until then, bye for now.
Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off, the clapper.